Hello, Barfly2 here. We're gearing up to finally doing filming of the next lot of campaign missions. But what we thought we'd do was an after action report. In this, instead of filming both the table and the card moves that we actually do when we're playing the game, what we'd do is we'd speed it up and just cover the actions and review what we've done, and then go through the paperwork for the campaign part. Reasons to do this? One is time. It's actually quicker for you guys to watch a short 15 to 20 minute video than it is to watch a full playthrough. 2, it'll allow us to go through what we've done wrong and hopefully learn from the experience so that the next game that we play is better. So this will be broad strokes and won't go into the detail of turning cards, flipping cards, changing dials, etc. Finally, on a really practical note, it's actually been quite a few months since we filmed this first campaign mission, so I wanted to go back and review what we actually did during that mission. So the biggest elephant in the room from playing the first campaign mission is to always have a copy of your faction's strategy sheet in front of you. We didn't. We looked back at it afterwards and then actually realised we'd got very few of the strategic goals, which you get extra strategy points for throughout the campaign. So this one's actually quite low scoring in terms of strategic goals. Next time, keep a copy of the sheet in front of us and you can get extra points for the overall campaign just by completing certain tasks. For example, this game introduced using probes, and we never actually used probes at all during this mission, and the Federation player can get extra strategy points from using probes. Bosh, now we'll get right into the game. So what's the overture and situation for campaign mission 1? Well, it's a trinary mission set up, with each of the systems having a Federation colony world and a Dominion client world. Each faction is to conduct planetary scans of their own colonies and disrupt scans of their opponents. There's also various anomalies throughout the sector which need scanned as well. Round 1 and the Jem'Hadar battlecruiser warps straight away into another error by going straight over an anomaly. This should be revealed as we go across it, and we didn't do it. We forgot, we were too excited. The battlecruiser's warping straight in just to get within range so it can conduct a scan on its client world. The other side of the board, the Galaxy mirrors this move and warps into another system. Jem'Hadar battlecruiser conducts a planetary scan and succeeds. That's 1 victory point. The Galaxy class ship does exactly the same, does a planetary scan and is able to get a victory point and move their influence on the tracker. The other 2 ships are just going to move into the one contested sector. They're facing this on the initial setup on the map. We didn't change anything, so they're just going to warp into the same sector. And yes, yet again, we warped over an anomaly without revealing it. The Defiant travels straight across this hazard and we ignored it. We just missed it, but we'll learn from these mistakes. Defiant and the attack fighter scream past each other at warp. Having committed 3 officers each, we now move into the standby phase, with the Defiant carrying out a planetary scan and getting another victory point. That's 2 for the Federation, 1 for the Dominion. Galaxy moves up to Green Alert 2 and the Jem'Hadar attack fighter carries out a planetary scan. On a reroll it gets enough to get its victory points, so that's now 2 each, plus an analysis in order to push the influence back. Round 1's hazard phase reveals a obscuring nebula beside the Galaxy. Round 2, the Federation takes priority. The Galaxy calls impulse and swivels round on its base. The Jem'Hadar battlecruiser also does this, swivelling on its base, aloft and aiming for its next objective. Having completed its planetary scan, the USS Defiant calls Impulse in order to swing past an anomaly. Orta Diplomat calls Impulse for the Jem'Hadar attack fighter to also change course. Defiant scans the nearby anomaly and discovers a strange relic. It gets an advantage token and is able to move the influence tracker 2 notches. Jem'Hadar attack fighter scans the anomaly, fails unfortunately, but does get an analysis result, so is able to move their influence tracker. Entering the standby phase, the Jem'Hadar attack fighter is able to scan the anomaly again. Another failure, but we do get an analysis result, so is able to move the influence tracker again. The Defiant moves up to Green Alert 2. Engaging reserve power, the Jem'Hadar battle cruiser goes at maximum warp. Crossing over a hazard, we reveal it, and it's a minor obscuring nebula. Battle cruiser carries on its move and ends up just inside the system. Responding, the Galaxy moves up to Yellow Alert 1. The hazard next to the Jem'Hadar attack fighter is revealed to be a fluctuating star. Ships will have to conduct a test if they warp over this obstacle. Round 3 and the Dominion once again have priority. The Jem'Hadar battle cruiser calls Impulse in order to line up their next objective. Seeing that the battle cruiser is focused on its own activities, the Galaxy sets warp towards the Federation colonies in the other system. The battle cruiser conducts a planetary scan on its client world. They gain a victory point and take the lead. The Galaxy also takes a planetary scan of the Federation colony. Success once more evens the score. Sensing tensions are rising, the Jem'Hadar attack fighter calls Yellow Alert, and the Galaxy calls Impulse to pivot again, preparing for the next round. The Defiant moves up to Yellow Alert in the standby phase, as does the Jem'Hadar battle cruiser. The Galaxy moves up to Yellow Alert 2, and the Jem'Hadar attack fighter calls Impulse, spinning to face the other systems. All objectives have been taken. We move into the Dominion complication. Both fleets' combat directives become hostile as each side seeks to protect their own interests. Defiant is already within range and scores 2 victory points through bombardment. Likewise, the attack fighter was also within range, carrying out another successful bombardment and scoring 2 victory points to even the score. Luck has left the battle cruiser and the Galaxy defending their own systems with their own colonies. Both the Galaxy and battle cruiser call Impulse to turn round and face each other down. The Defiant calls Impulse to turn round to head into the fray. The Jem'Hadar attack fighter calls Warp to do so as well. Moving into the standby phase, the Jem'Hadar battle cruiser moves forward to the very edge of the system. The Defiant then calls Warp and heads after the Jem'Hadar attack fighter. Not liking this, the Jem'Hadar attack fighter fires weapons, but they miss. We actually twisted the rules here slightly for this game and used saucer detachment here. It felt right that the galaxy would leave someone to protect the colony worlds. Round 5 and seeing the galaxy detach its saucer section, the Jem'Hadar attack fighter changes course and heads towards the Federation system. Seeing a clear path into the Dominion colonies, the Defiant calls warp. The Jem'Hadar battlecruiser responds to this incursion by firing its aft polaron beams. They score damage to the hull, which punches through and causes a warp core breach. The Galaxy Star Drive calls warp and heads towards the battlecruiser. The attack fighter calls warp and heads in towards the Federation colonies. The saucer section fires phasers towards the attack fighter. The Defiant uses its standby action to vent antimatter and repair its warp core breach. Knowing it's protected by the obscuring nebula for the moment, the Jem'Hadar battlecruiser calls impulse and faces towards the Defiant. The Galaxy moves to its highest alert status of Red 1, whilst the Jem'Hadar attack fighter does a planetary bombardment on the Federation colony and succeeds in getting a victory point. Moving into round 6, the USS Defiant carries out a bombardment and scores a victory point to even the scores. Jem'Hadar battlecruiser opens up its weapons upon the Defiant. Both shots are absorbed by the shields. The saucer section fires its phasers at the attack fighter. It takes some hits, but it decides to concentrate on firing a bombardment on the next colony because it's within range. Dominion take the lead again. The position of the battlecruiser and the Defiant is stopping the star drive warping straight into the system, so it has to call an impulse in order to change its position. The Dominion pass, but the Federation know we're in the last round, so decide to push it by committing another officer to get an extra action before we go into the standby phase. They call a warp and make it into the system. Battlecruiser doesn't really have much options at the moment, so the Dominions decide to pass. This may have been different if we'd been running exploration objectives where we could have used teams to try and board the opposite ships. Defiant succeeds at another bombardment and evens the score again. If they had failed, the star drive was lined up to take a shot at the colony. As it was, we called the game there because all objectives had been completed. It was a draw, but that meant it was a Dominion victory overall. So how does that affect the campaign scores? Both the Federation and the Dominion managed to carry out 2 or more planetary scans, so they both succeeded in that part. Only the Federation managed to expose a strange relic. Both sides destroyed opposing assets. So we even managed to fill in these sheets incorrectly. We were obviously very tired. This actually had a knock-on effect for the actual strategy points, with the Dominion coming off better and the Federation coming off worse. So while getting ready for campaign 2, we've actually sat down and readjusted the point spend that we did. So the Dominion was the winning player, so they should check the Overture A box plus the Complication A box, plus they had a minor victory, so 3 SP. Federation only get 2 SP for checking Overture Box A and Box B. Being the losing player, they do get an HQ response, which allows them to add 2 advantage tokens in the next game. Federation got no bonus for getting any strategic goals, so they just get hints of the past, which allows them to bring Benjamin Sisko on board. As well as adding Benjamin Sisko to the roster, we've got 5 repair points and 5 triage points. We only need repair points at the moment because none of our officers were hurt, so the Defiant uses 5 repair to go back up to 6 hull. Dominion got an extra 3 strategy points to bring them up to 6 by completing their complication. So they buy Alpha Quadrant Production for 4 points, Individual Cloning for 1 point, and Ruthless Reputation to get Talak Talan. That gives them a really good tactical officer. They can bring back an officer if they lose them during a mission with Individual Cloning, and they can repair their hulls easier during a game with the Alpha Quadrant Production. Dominion use 3 repair to bring their attack fighter back up to 5. So we've reviewed the last campaign mission in order to spend points and find out where we went wrong, both strategically and with the gameplay, and now we're ready to do campaign number 2. The plan is to film that over the next week or so, edit that and release it as a full playthrough, full length, and then a week after that release a small after action report like this.